Today we're on 7-3% greater than 100% and less than 1% on page 178. The objective here is to write fractions and decimals greater than 1 and less than 100th as percents, and then to write percents greater than 100% and less than 1% as fractions and decimals. Alrighty, so going from a decimal to a percent, all you simply do is move the decimal point over 2 times to the right. So that's what I did here. I went from 1.5. 1.5 as a percent is 150%. 2.7% is actually 270%, if I can talk correctly. Alrighty, to go from renaming fractions greater than 1 as a percent, you can either divide the numerator by the denominator or set it up as a proportion. So let's do the proportion first. We have a fraction of 7 over 5, which equals n over 100. We want to put it out of 100. Let's cross multiply here. So we have 5n equals 700. Let's divide by 5 on both sides. So this is going to equal, I believe this is 140. So n equals 140. Again, this is already in a percent since we're multiplying out of 100. So n equals 140% right there. Okay. If I want to divide by the numerator, if I want to divide the numerator and the denominator, set it up as such. 5 goes into 70 14 times. Minus 70, bring it down. 5 goes into 0 times. So the last step after you get your quotient is to then move that decimal point over twice. So there is a decimal, so it's 140%. So this one involves, one on the left here, method 1 involves that extra step, and you have to remember after you divide to then move the decimal point over, whereas the proportion, if you set it up as the proportion, you go straight into the percent. So either way you do it, it'll get you the same answer if you do it correctly. Going from a percent greater than 100 to an equivalent decimal and fraction. So 225% going to a decimal. So here's the decimal point right there. So if going from a decimal to a percent, I moved the decimal point over twice to the right. So the opposite of that, going from a percent to a decimal, I'm just going to move it over twice to the left. So 225% equals 2.25 as a decimal. All right, let's do 145% to an equivalent fraction. So all I'm going to do is, so that's 145. So remember, percents are out of 100. So I'm simply going to put 145 out of 100. I'm going to simplify that so I have a proper fraction. 100 goes into 145 one whole time with a remainder of 45 over 100. I'm going to simplify that. The GCF of 45 and 100 is going to be 5. So that's going to be 1 and 9 out of 20. Alright. Alrighty, so let's go from 116 2/3% to, I believe we're going to an equivalent decimal here, or a fraction. We'll see. So you first break up the whole number of the percent. So 116 breaks down into 100, and then plus 16 2/3. 100% in decimal form, we move over 2 places to the left, equals a whole number of 1. So keep that in mind. So that breaks down into 1. 16 2/3% equals 50 over 3. We're going to multiply that by 100 there. So if we follow the order of operations here, we're going to multiply these guys first, then add the 1. That's the whole number. So 50 can cancel out and be 1. It's going to cancel out and be 2. So we have 1 plus 1/3 times 1 over 2. We're going to do that. So that's going to equal 1 and 1/6 because 3 times 2 equals 6. So 1 times 1 equals 1. So the equivalent fraction to 116 2/3% is going to be 1 and 1/6. Okay? If we do the equivalent decimal, all we would do is we would divide the 1 by the 6 and get 1 point, whatever that equivalent is of 1 divided by 6 is. We're not going to do that right now. Now we're dealing with decimals smaller than 1, or smaller than 100th. Oh my God, my brain is gone. Okay, so again, this is our decimal, 0.007. Again, all we're doing is moving it 2 times to the right, going from a decimal to a percent. So it's going to be 0.7%. 0.0016, same thing. Start at the decimal, move over 2 spots to the right. 1, 2. We're going to have 0. Always important to put the 0 up front of the decimal. If there's no whole number, to make sure for clarification. 1.16%. Okay. 0.003 going to doing it a little different way is putting that over, since 3 is in the thousand spot, put 3 over 1,000. Then you divide both sides by 10. You get equals 0.3 over 10. We just divided that by 10 and that by 10. So this went from here to here. That's why we got the 0.3. That knocked off that should be knocked off a 0, so that should be 100. I'm sorry. Oopsie. Okay. So that would be 0.3 to 100, so that'll give us 0.3%. Okay? Alrighty. So the last thing I want you to do here is I want you to do this problem as, I want you to move, so we have 0.004%. I want you to make the equivalent decimal. I want you to answer this last question. Okay, going from decimal to percent, what do I do? Where do I move the decimal point? Going from percent to decimal, what do I do? Where do I move the decimal point? Okay, good luck, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.